Yo guys, what's going on? Today we are going to be going over the biggest narrative shifts after UFC 328. Yes, this is a stolen Lucas Tracy concept, but he doesn't even do it anymore and he's basically fucking retired, so who gives a shit? Anyway, biggest narrative shift about Khamzat Chimaev. Now the narrative shifted back. So after the Dricus, so before the Dricus fight, everybody said, oh, Khamzat has no cardio, Khamzat's just going to gas after one round. Well, then he fights Dricus, and he fucks him up for 5 rounds. And everyone's like, okay, well, Khamzat, he can lay on you for 5 rounds. If it's 5 rounds of grappling, he can probably do it. Well, the narrative is now once again, Khamzat Chimaev gasses out after 1 round. Like, 100%, if he doesn't finish you in the first round, if the pace is higher than, laying on you, he's going to gas out 100%, bro.
Yeah, not much to it. Yeah. He's got no cardio at all and couldn't handle Strickland. Strickland didn't even put on a good pace on him.
Speaking of Strickland, Sean Strickland, the narrative about Sean Strickland is that it's once again that he's championship level. So there was a little bit of a narrative that Strickland was like, not necessarily not championship level, but that he wouldn't be a champion again. He squashed the narrative by becoming a champ, I guess. I don't know what the verdict is online on if he beats Dricus in a trilogy or not. I don't think he does. Like, there wasn't a big narrative shift with him. It's kind of just the shock value. And that maybe he does get a title defense. Maybe he beats Dricus. Maybe he fights Nasri to Mavov or something. But overall, that's the narrative with him. With Strickland, I do want to talk about, though. Brandon, do you have anything to add with that?
Just like Strickland at plus odds heading into a title fight is just a mythical fighter, I guess.
Yeah. That's the narrative now. You got to be, if Strickland goes into a title fight, he's a plus 400. He's going to win. But with Strickland, this is the hardest fighter of all time to rank on the GOAT list. Like, where the fuck do you put this guy all time? Where do you put this guy as an all-time middleweight? He has, like, the weirdest resume ever. He has, like, a razor-close fight with Dricus that you could say he won, you could say he lost. A super clear loss to Dricus. A robbery against Jared Cannonier. A robbery that he should have won against Jared Cannonier. Knocked out by Alex Pereira. That's not really that bad. But then beats Prime Izzy. One of the best versions Izzy beats him. And by versions, I mean, like, time period. Like, 2023 Izzy is good. Then beats Khamzat Chimaev. That's one of the... That might be... Dude, that might be one of the best wins ever. Like, that is insane. To beat Khamzat. Beats Paulo Costa, which is aging really well, and that was a good version of Costa. He made it competitive. He beats Brendan Allen, but Allen at the time wasn't very good. That win aged well. And then he beat Nasri Mavov. And again, that win at the time wasn't anything crazy, but it aged really well. So, where do you rank this guy all the time? I don't fucking know, dude. But here's the fucking thing, you guys. The narrative about Strickland pretty much stayed the same. Like, that was a Strickland type of fight.
Yeah, totally agree.
Now, the narrative about Joshua Van. This was probably the second biggest narrative shift on the card. Okay? Behind Khamzat. The narrative with Joshua Van going into this fight was paper champ. He's not proven. He only beat Brandon Royval. You could argue Royval was even a fluke because he just, he was en route to lose and then he dropped him at the last second. And just the paper champ allegations, the not proven allegations. And honestly, the narrative was that he probably doesn't have good takedown defense. He's too young, too small. No, the smallness actually proved to be a good thing. Van can go into deep waters. Van is championship material. Van does have good grappling. He does have good takedown defense. And he's a fucking dog. The narrative about Van now is that he may go down as one of the greatest flyweights of all time. And he's going to keep this belt for a while if he ends up beating Pantoja.
Yeah. Van, I also, just another narrative, though, he was not tested beforehand in the grappling, really. So, you could just say, he was tested more also.
Yeah.
And he proved that he can definitely hang.
Yeah, he can definitely grapple with the best of them. Obviously, he's not going to go out there and shoot takedowns or anything like that. We don't have a fucking... He's not Khamzat Chimaev. Oh, wait. He's better! Yeah. But the narrative about Joshua Van now is that he can go into deep waters. He has crazy cardio. He can He can stuff takedowns. He can get up on bottom. The narrative is that Joshua Van is a complete fighter, and he is a fucking dog, dude. And he's a fucking American, too. Everybody's chanting USA. We all love Joshua Van. Now, the narrative shift for Tatsuro Taira. I couldn't find a flattering picture of Tatsuro Taira from this fight, so I just went with this. This was a narrative about Taira before. Was that Taira is this crazy, dominant grappler on the ground. Once he gets you to the ground, you're completely fucked. There's nothing you can do. And, like, if he gets a takedown, it's over, basically. Like, if he gets a takedown, he's going to get you out of there. He's going to have, like, an extremely dominant round. And Joshua Van went out there and he completely disproved that narrative. He proved that, no, it's possible to get up if Taira gets you down. It's possible to stuff Taira's takedowns. And I know Brandon Royval kind of already did that, but because Taira had, a little bit, I don't want to say resurgence, but he improved after the Royval fight, the narrative shifted back. But now, Joshua Van, he went out there like a fucking animal and he proved you can get up from Tatsuro Taira. He's not this, like, you're completely fucked, you're going to get finished on the ground type of grappler. Even after the improvements he made after the Royval fight, it's still possible to survive. And honestly, you can beat the fuck out of him on the feet if you do.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, he didn't, like, he kept Moreno down, but, like, Moreno just stuck onto a submission that whole entire first round, and, like,
he didn't really move in the second round.
Yeah, Vance looks so good against it. I mean, the narrative, it just hurts him. I mean, at least I feel like his striking didn't look as bad as it has before.
Also, another new narrative about him. It's not like this was a shift. Like, nobody was saying Taira was chinny or anything like that. But the narrative on Taira now is he is a fucking dog. Like, if you don't kill this guy and the fight gets stopped, like, he's still coming after you. It doesn't matter how much you hit him with. He's going to maraud at you like a fucking zombie. So you got to give Taira his props as well. Van's also a fucking dog, too. But
Yeah.
the narratives for the blobs, for Volkov... Well, Volkov's not a blob, but the narrative for Volkov and the narrative for Walto Cortez Oblobsta. Narrative shift for Volkov is that he's kind of slow, guys. Like, before this fight, everybody was like, oh, I mean, Volkov on the feet, he's the elite of the elite at heavyweight. He beat Gon. He would maybe even give Pereira problems in the striking. Okay, I'm not saying anybody was saying that because people don't really talk about Volkov all that much. So you're not really even thinking about that. But, like, people were saying he beat Gon. He's up there with Gon. If you knew what you were talking about, you would say, maybe even if Aspinall doesn't take him down, maybe, possibly, he can jab at range versus Aspinall and maybe hold him off for a round. On the feet only. Not in the grappling. But in this fight, he showed he is not, like, he was just fighting plotty, besides Cyril Gahn. That Cyril Gahn fight looks really weird in hindsight, but Volkov is not this, like, crazy fast guy. Waldo speed mogged him in the boxing. Volkov was still able to use his range, use his kicks, but that narrative was there before. That's not even a narrative, that's just an attribute. Yeah, Volkov is not a Speedy Gonzalez at heavyweight. And honestly, nobody was saying he's a Speedy Gonzalez, but he was saying, like, he's faster than all these guys, and, he's just as fast as Waldo. Even though he beat Waldo very convincingly, that was nowhere near a robbery. He was getting speed mogged. Like, in all reality, in the boxing, he didn't have the same speed. And honestly, a Josh Hockett matchup is a lot more interesting now. I bet most of you would have picked Volkov to beat Josh Hockett before. Now, I don't know. What do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, now it's definitely closer, but I don't know. I think Waldo is a fast. Like, I do think he's quite quick out of the heavyweights, but
He's not as fast as Gahn.
Also with the Gahn fight, I don't know if I'm just remembering it wrong, but wasn't it a lot of wrestling?
It was like, I'd say it was 50-50. Volkov
Because
definitely...
Gahn kept on taking down Volkov.
Well, Volkov definitely outstruck Gahn in that fight.
And it was an injured
Rocked him a couple of times. Okay, but he still beat Gahn. Gahn is levels and levels above Volkov. Or, not Volkov, Waldo.
Yeah.
And in order to beat Gahn, you have to have some kind of speed. Like, you can't just be, plodding around the cage like Volkov was in this fight. If this version of Volkov had fought Gahn would have schooled him. It would have looked like the first fight. But I do want to get into... I don't have a second picture because I'm not Dude, I don't care too much about Waldo. Uh, the narrative shift on Waldo, there kind of isn't one. It kind of just reinforced the fact that this guy's not championship level. Like, we're never going to have Waldo fighting for a belt. Waldo is, like I said in the Fights to Make video, unfortunately, for heavyweight. Waldo Cortez Acosta is the song you don't in the division. This kind of reinforced that narrative. It gave it more ground to stand on because he'll give a lot of people a tough fight, but he's not going to beat guys in the top 5. If you can beat him, you're top 5 material. But if you're losing to him, you're not gonna do much in the heavyweight division, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, Walter's just kind of a can crusher. I mean, I think like I think he'd be able to beat like Curtis Blades maybe, but like yeah, he's just gonna keep on crushing prospects, and he'll get a fight with the top guy, and then he'll just lose that fight.
Yeah, he's kind of forever a number like 5, number 6 in the world type of guy, and if you can beat him, you're gonna be a top 5 contender at heavyweight. You're like, okay, we can take this guy seriously now. He beat Waldo.
Yeah,
He could maybe fight for a belt in the future.
yeah, he's just moving into like a gatekeeping role.
Yeah, 100%. Now, Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. I would say there's a small narrative shift for Brady. I don't think it's this huge, like, okay, now Brady can take damage. He has a good chin now. No. But there was a narrative that Brady is a shitty striker. And I know they didn't spend much time on the feet at all. And there was a narrative that Brady, couldn't take down certain guys who had power and, could. I don't necessarily want to say keep him at distance, but there was a narrative like he froze up in front of power punchers. Buckley has a decent amount of power. That did not deter Brady at all. Brady was shooting for takedowns. He was getting them. So we already knew, but in case you motherfuckers forgot, Brady is one of the best grapplers in the sport. When it comes to just pure jiu-jitsu on the ground, Brady is one of the best guys. He's top 5. He's up there. He's on the Armand, the Islam, the Charles level. I'm not saying he's better than those guys, but he's like, if you're not a good grappler yourself, you're not going to be able to do shit to Brady on the ground. Like, you're not going to be able to get up when he takes you down. You know what I mean? And even if you are a good grappler, you still got a chance of holding you down.
Yeah, I mean, I personally really don't think there's much of a narrative change here just because of how little the fight was on the feet. Like Buckley just like didn't even land anything. So like I'm not like changing my thoughts of like that Brady can't take damage well. But
No, and I'm not saying
it
that's
is
the
like
narrative.
it is just like a little bit of like people forgot how good he is on the ground.
The narrative shift, what I'm saying, Brandon, is that he doesn't just freeze up if you have power. Because a lot of people were saying that he kind of froze up in front of Morales. And if you have power, you can deter him. He'll kind of freeze up and he might not shoot, or he might shoot a shitty shot just out of desperation or something. But he proved that's not the case because Buckley does have some type of power. He didn't let that get to him. He still stuck to his game. He shot for takedowns. He got him.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thought that was because of Morales' like range, not so much his power, but
That's true. I mean, some people thought it was the power. Some people thought it was the range. Some people thought Brady just sucked. Brady proved he does not suck, dude. Brady belongs nowhere near the bottom of this division. He belongs at the top. I would pick him to be okay. Here's how I know there was some type of a narrative shift. How many people? I'm not saying you, Brandon, but I'm not saying you specifically, Brandon. I'm not saying myself either. But how many people type in the comments right now? Before Saturday night, would you have picked Brady to beat Protez? And would you pick Brady to beat Protez now? I'll wait.
no.
Nobody would have picked Brady to beat Protez before Saturday night. But I feel like a lot of people remembered, like, oh yeah, shit, Brady is like one of the best grapplers in the sport. He would probably beat Carlos Protez. Like, I would.
I'd personally still take Pratos, but
Oh, dude, I would take Brady all fucking day.
I
Would
mean, Pratos just
100%
needs
take
one
Brady.
shot.
I think Brady would submit him in the first round. Protez got taken down by Leon. Protez got taken down by JDM. Like, dude, Brady is fucking up Protez on the ground. Brady's taking down Protez and he's beating him up. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to hope that Brady takes him down before Pratos lands a punch.
I honestly think he would. Protez is so dangly. He's so long. I feel like it would be easy for Brady to take him down. He would take him down with the first double leggy shot. I guarantee you. But
And Pratos would be the first time he's like preparing for a strictly wrestler. Like he wasn't preparing to wrestle against JDM at all.
I know, but it was so easy for JDM to take him down the first time. And
practicing
JDM almost got his back.
while he was getting taken down.
JDM almost got his back. You're telling me Sean Brady can't take his back even if Protez has a whole... Buckley had a fucking year. And Buckley's a better grappler than Protez. There is no narrative shift about Buckley, by the way. Unless people thought, like, oh, he's training with Usman. He's going to have takedown defense now. He proved, like, he might have a little bit better takedown defense because he did stuff a couple, but not to the level that people thought. Like, a fight against Usman would go the same way now. But I don't think anybody thought it wouldn't. Anyway.
Yeah.
The only other narrative shift we really want to talk about is... we got two more. We got Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson can take some kind of damage. He can get in a dogfight. He can thug it out. And he proved that on Saturday night. A lot of people said, if he touches chin, he's going to go down. He's going to just die. A lot of people said he was chinny. A lot of people said he couldn't get into a scrap. What do you think, Brandon?
Grant Dawson's still super chinny because Rebecca dropped him like 2 or 3 times, and he dropped him badly. But Grant Dawson dogged it out after he wrestled. For some reason, Rebecca re-wrestled him while he was dropped. I mean, that was really stupid of Rebecca, but like
completely
Dawson dogged it out. Dawson dogged it out, and he ended up with the finish. And that's like his first time. Like I feel like it was one of his first times like facing a lot of adversity and still coming out on top.
Yeah. So narrative on Grant Dawson now, he is able to handle adversity. Narrative before he kind of wasn't. Now, last but not least, got Yaroslav fucking Amasayev. Narrative on him is that he's not a can crusher. We thought, maybe he could be a can crusher before. He's coming over from Bellator. A lot of the Bellator guys, they fight UFC, like, high caliber competition, and they just get fucked. But Joel Alvarez is good, man. Joel Alvarez is legit, and Yaroslav fucked him up easily. So he's not a can crusher. He's here. He's in the UFC, and he's a real contender. He's not like he's not just a Bellator can that everybody's going to shit on.
Yeah, totally agree. And I mean, the only thing about him still is just his striking is still super unproven. But like you said, like Bellator's just been so shit coming over for this guy to like actually be like. I mean, he's getting brought up the right way, but like for how good he's doing, he's definitely got some potential.
Yeah, he's not gonna come in like a fucking pit bull. He's not gonna come in like Apache Mix. He's not gonna come in like Michael Chandler or anything like that. I think Yaroslav. Listen, I'm not saying he's gonna be champ. Like he's not gonna be a champion, but he's definitely good. Like he's definitely UFC level. He was definitely ready for this. Like Patchy Mix was not at all. Yaroslav is, and a lot of people, myself included, thought he was just a Smellator can crusher. But no, he's an actual legit contender, not a pretender. You know what I mean? Call me Dr. Seuss, motherfucker. Got anything left to add, Brandon?
Nah.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure to leave a comment, drop a like, drop a sub, and in the comments, put what you thought was the biggest narrative change of UFC 328. I'll see you guys in the next one, and bye-bye.